did not want to be out in front, the front guy and trying to attract to you. Because I think the guy that he trusts the most is Randy Sanders. So I allowed Randy to recruit him, so to speak. But he knew how I felt based on the communication that we had while we were at that football game. I thought he was strong. And I'm not one that he took from me that night. He did. He took from me, and it's the guys that I want. I want the guy that when he walks in the room lights up. When he walks in the stadium, everybody's attracted to him. That's what Team Martin did.
I asked you on recruiting signing day last week about the places that you need to get into, pipelines in Georgia and South Carolina, that whole southern area, Alabama.
What about South Alabama with this guy?
I was going to say, obviously he's in those areas. You mentioned his name is huge when he goes in those places.
He's huge in wherever he goes. The reason why, he's won a national championship. He's worked with Nike and traveling with the Nike camps and clinics. So, he's just big for our program. He's a guy that can get in a lot of homes. And everybody asks how we're going to replace myself. I think we've done better than Joker Phillips in the South because his name is still lingering because of his national championship that he won just recently.
Joker, have you ever worked with a coach who has a street name for him?
I'm working for one now.
That's true. There's two.
Yeah. T. Martin has it? He does. I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's even better. The thing we got to do is we got to make them take it down. You know how you make them take them down?
Beat them?
Exactly. Exactly. But my street that I had, I don't know if you guys.
I didn't.
Yeah, but I got humbled on Saturday morning when I took my nephew to his basketball game, and he says, "Uncle Joe, tell me where your street begins and ends." So I showed him where it began, and I showed him where it ended, and as it ended, he said, "You don't have any houses on your street." So, I'm sure T. Martin has some residents on his street.
How about having both Sanders and having Martin here? You're a Kentucky guy through and through. Talk about having that.
We got two winners. We got two guys that understand what it takes to win. And they understand how. The thing that they both are, they're great teachers. And that's what you have to have. Obviously, T. Martin, before he even arrives in a place, his name is going to speak for itself. And then once he gets in the room will definitely light up. Kent, what the heck are you doing?
What? How important, when you talk about the relationships and when the room lights up when he walks in, how important is that when you're trying to, everybody's going to a kid's home and you've got to have that kind of personality?
You know what? I've always thought that the first thing you have to sell in recruiting, yourself. Before you can even step in the room to sell the university, the conference, the players, the other staff, you have to be able to sell yourself. And that's what T. Martin does. He's a great salesman of himself. Before he even walks in the room, everybody knows his name, and then the way he carries himself, just speaks for himself. So,
could you talk about your relationship with him, Joker?
You know what? We had our relationship started when Randy came here. We got a chance to meet him. He actually spoke to our football team, offensive football team, one time. I had Coach Hills listen to the guy talk. The guy understands what it takes to win. He excites me every time I'm around him. He was just the perfect card for us.
He's a little bit better in blue than orange.
I think he does. I'm sure some people down in Orange Country would think differently, but I think he's a great addition for us. He's exactly what I was looking for a guy that can not only understand how to teach what we want to get taught, but also be able to get into homes that we want to get into.
Joker, Chip wanted me to ask you about the conditioning program. How different is it this year?
I think those things you got to ask the players. I think I got what I was looking for, which is a guy that has the ability to get our players to go beyond what they think they can go and rock. One thing that's going on down there, I think our team is being built in the weight room right now. The mental toughness, the physical toughness, and I think we got exactly what we were looking for in Rock Oliver. Those things that, and a lot of that you have to ask our players. I think they will be able to describe what's going on there better than myself, because I'm not going through it. I'm actually down there viewing it, but I'm not going through it. We got some NFL guys over here, Wesley Woodyard, Keenan Burton, Braxton Kelly, Johnny Williams. Those guys went through it today. Dickie Lyons, those guys went through it today. They will be even better than our players to be able to explain what's going on there.
How hard was it, or how hard did you have to work to convince Ray to come down?
Well, it wasn't a tough sell, but it was a tough sell once the staff there got wind that he was considered, because they wanted badly to keep Brock there because of the job he had done for them. So it became a tough sell in the end. I think it originally, when the first happened, when it was the first call was made, it was easy. I'm in, but then once they got wind of it, it became hard because of the pitch that they had to try to keep him.